right, we are back with a milestone episode 20 of Shoot the J. So we're back again. To my left, my brother Tyrone Jackson. Below, we have brother Don Jackson. As we always start off the show, what are you drinking? Tyrone?
Moscato, yeah.
I thought you were going to say Muscatel at first.
It might be like that.
Huh?
Cranberry
with vodka. You heard me?
What is that cranberry? What in vodka?
Cranberry and Tito's vodka with a little sprig of lemon. You heard? Lime.
All right.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, I have a shot of tequila here that I'm gonna take before.
So I'm about to say.
Yeah.
What brand of tequila is that?
Well, actually, I don't know. Tanya, what's the brand of tequila that this is?
We call in favors.
Camarena.
Tanya!
Camarena?
Oh yeah, Camarena. Yeah.
Oh,
Camarena.
The popular
Yeah, let me
stuff.
bring it down. At least I didn't do a DW.
Ooh, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody been getting jiggy with that bottle right there.
You take my little shot. Hold on, gentlemen.
Yeah. Whoa.
You don't have to do it all at once. You know what I mean?
Very good. So we start off. Our first topic of the day, we're going to talk about Tyrone's favorite quarterback. Carson Wentz is recently traded to the Indianapolis Colts. What do y'all think about that move? Is that going to make them a difference maker in their division? You replace him to Phillip Rivers. You had Brissett before that, Jacoby Brissett. Is Carson Wentz the answer to take the Colts to the next level?
Well, let me just say this. First of all, Dak Prescott did not get his money. They gave Carson Wentz money. They gave Jared Goff money. And those two cats are no longer with their teams. Yet now you see that Jerry Jones wants to sign Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott can get a lot of money. But the man didn't get that money when he was had numbers comparable, if not better, than Carson Wentz. And we've looked that up. You know how I feel about that already, right? Mm-hmm. But if Carson Wentz was the answer, he was running for his life with the Eagles. Ironically enough, though, that's when he did his best passing. He just was 10 to vittles. So he's going to get with Indianapolis, who has they have a better line, offensive line. Sometimes a new starter do wonders for you, and I think he's being reunited with somebody who was his offense coordinator before. But to me, how much money they paying for him? You know what I'm saying? I don't think he deserves to make that money. He did something in that Super Bowl run, but got hurt, and Nick Foles won the Super Bowl for him. So, I mean, I don't know if he's proven to be a Super Bowl winner, if he's going to put him over the edge. But, I mean, it's a nice little move. But, you know, Jalen Hurts just took his spot. Now, how you feel about that? A rookie coming in and taking your spot the last couple of games. So, hey.
So you think the fresh start might do him well in a better O-line to give him a little more time to be a better quarterback?
Yeah, it'll be something to prove, but I just don't think he was needed to have that money from the beginning, from the get-go. But, you know, I think it'll be better for him to stay at Philly.
Okay.
Doug Peterson wasn't that great of a coach to me. He was a better offensive coordinator by himself than being a head coach. And I think he should have stayed as that.
Don?
Like Ty said, he's reuniting with his coach. His offensive coach was Frank Reich at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Now with the Colts. And his best season with Reich as his offense coordinator was in 2017. He had 33 touchdown passes, but he also ranked first in the NFL with a 78.5 total QBR. But as we know, he was benched in 2020 as he threw 15 interceptions and was sacked 50 times. And that's why Jalen Hurts took his spot. And also the Eagles would be carrying over a $33.8 million dead money cap charge for Wentz in 2021. Woo. That's a killer right there. So like Ty said, you know, you look at players who are changing the scene or the scenery, and hopefully he reignites something with Frank Reich that he didn't have in Philly. But you're still facing some top powerhouse AFC teams. Couldn't get past this past year. San Diego has only gotten better with their new quarterback. You're looking at the Ravens who have their talent. Tennessee Titans has been a perennial problem for the Colts. And now you got Buffalo Bills. That's a powerhouse. So they have their work cut out for him. I don't know who else they're putting around him in Colts other than T.Y. Hilton. I don't know who else they have that can help shoulder this load.
I'm not sold on this move. I mean, you had Phillip Rivers, who struggled early, but got the team into a little bit of contention. But in my book, Carson Wentz is not in the same caliber as Phillip Rivers. Even though Rivers is older than him, he's not a game manager. He doesn't read defense as well as Phillip Rivers does. He's not as good a leader as Phillip Rivers is. And if you're saying we're bringing a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, he didn't win the Super Bowl. Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. He got him to a good record, but Nick Foles is the one who actually won the Super Bowl game. So I don't see, and as Tyrone mentioned, Tim DeVito's his history of being injured. Okay, so I don't really see this as a great move for the Colts. I don't know what happened to Brissett or why they just frowned on this guy who won a lot of games on him in the past before they moved Rivers over. They had a porous offensive line early on that caused Andrew Luck to retire early because he was taking too many hits. So I don't see this as the move at all. And as you say in the AFC, man, you got to deal with Pittsburgh coming in. You got the Ravens got to come in there. When you're in the AFC, you got the Chargers.
Cincinnati's stepping up.
Yes, Cincinnati, is playing well. Everybody in the AFC is getting better. Cleveland is gotten a lot better. So
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, so I don't see. I see this as being like we had to make a move, but I don't see this as a move that's gonna make them improve. Do y'all have a prediction? Do you think they'll get better than last year, or about the same as last year, or worse than last year?
I think about the same. And keep in mind, Carson Wentz is not a spring chicken too. He came in the league as an old rookie. I think he was 26 years old as a rookie or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe even 28 or something like that.
Okay. Don?
So time is not on his side.
I think it'll be the same, or if they don't watch themselves, they'll be under the gun. With like we're talking about, with all of these AFC teams improving with their quarterback play. He, like David said, he's not a spring chicken, so he could be very well behind the eight ball over there in Indianapolis. One thing they've had was a stout defense that has helped them, in ways that the team couldn't surpass others offensively. Their defense came up and supported them, so we don't know.
And their division is weak too. I mean, you got Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Tennessee, and Indianapolis. So in Houston, I'm sorry. So they could do something in that division. Reminds you kind of like the Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, Washington, and Dallas. That's the weaker divisions in the AFC. So yeah.
All right. So our next topic. Last week there was a game between the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. A lot of people feel is going to be a finals preview. Now both teams weren't at full strength. You still had James Harden and Kyrie on one side. LeBron didn't have AD or Dennis Schroeder as well. So they played each other, and the Lakers got throttled pretty bad, or routed pretty bad during the game. They made the bench players came in and made it look respectable, but it was basically a 20-point loss. One of those type of losses that LeBron would have in Cleveland, where he played great, but the rest of the team couldn't rise to the occasion. Do you think after this loss, and also Anthony Davis's health with his Achilles, do you think the Lakers have to make a move before the trade deadline in order to remain in contention?
Don, you want to start?
I'm just trying to see who do you get to add or complement what you already have that will not take away from the chemistry you have. I think this is a bump in the road with AD being out. You got to find a way to get all your other talent to step up and help you win games in the absence of AD. We know your top 6 NBA teams, you may not hold a candle to them right now with AD being out. So you got to plan for that. But you need to get the most out of your bench. They need to play a lot of heavy minutes anyway, so that they can get ready for this push. Because once All-Star hits, then it's the second half of the season push for playoff seeding. So if I was the Lakers, I would work as hard as I could to develop my bench and to keep them strong and healthy and minimize LeBron's minutes. Only play him as needed for this stretch without AD, so you don't injure him. If you injure him and you have AD sideline, you can kiss your playoff hopes goodbye.
So you're saying they don't need to make a move. They just need to strengthen their bench, watch LeBron's minutes, wait for AD to get back, and make their big push at the end.
Yes.
Okay. Tyrone?
I disagree. I think they need to make a move now. They say they're looking into Mo Bamba. I don't know if that's the right move.
Oh.
But I think they need a three-headed monster. And I think I would either go after Bradley Beal, just push hard to get Bradley Beal. And then Bradley Beal, LeBron, and the rest of those guys could hold down the fort until AD get back. Don't rush AD back. And I think you need to get rid of Marc Gasol. He's not helping them at all.
Get him out of
have enough cash and assets to get Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is the franchise of DC. It's not happening. Why would DC pick him up?
I'll send out Kyle Kuzma, Marc Gasol. I'll send out GM out there. You can take him. You can take Magic Johnson Theaters. You can take Magic Johnson Theaters. You can take TGI Friday Magic Johnson. You can take all of that. We'll give you all of that.
Magic is part owner, but he ain't running anything no more. He's not letting you put his stock up. I can tell you that, brother.
Look, you're right. But we need to make a move. And if Mo Bamba, let's go with Andre Drummond. Some people saying that if Detroit buys out Blake Griffin, he's going to sign with the Lakers. So that's interesting too.
I'm with Tyrone. I think they need to make a move desperately. Don and I, we talked about this yesterday. Other than Anthony Davis, who's phenomenal, top 5 player, and LeBron, probably the best player in the league, they don't have another starter on that team. Nobody else is a starter. KCP wasn't a starter in Detroit, nor would the Lakers when LeBron got there. Schroeder was 6-man candidate with OKC, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was starting with Chris Paul. Marc Gasol is not a starter at this point in his career. Kuzma's coming off the bench. Montrezl Harrell is a 6th man of the year. There's not a starter on that team outside of AD and LeBron. So this is not a super team by any stretch of the imagination. They just Caruso was coming off the G League. He was barely in the league before this. So I think that Andre Drummond pick would be phenomenal for them. Cleveland needs scoring at the small forward position because they have great guards but no wing scoring, And I think Kuzma and THT, you'll trade your future with those two guys for Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is pretty young, and he's a double-double machine. He's averaging 17 and 12, I think, 17 points, 12 boards. And then with LeBron, he's going to get a lot more easy buckets. And he's a shot blocker, too. So what they thought they were going to do is space the floor out with Marc Gasol. It really, to me, it hasn't worked yet because that Dwight Howard and that
JaVale
McGee, they were fearsome in the regular season, and then when you needed to put them in a postseason to get past Jokic, they did their job. Marc Gasol to me has been a huge disappointment. I think you get Drummond, and even if AD can't play, let's say he doesn't come back till the second round of the playoffs. LeBron and Andre Drummond could win, get you to the second round or close to to the conference finals before big gun. So I really think the way the West is, the way the East is shaped up, you're going to need another piece if AD is going to be hurt long term.
Yeah, if you saw the Clippers play Utah last night, they was all over Utah. Utah is fighting.
Right.
I'm like, the Lakers got the most competition they're going to have is within their own division, let alone talk about facing Brooklyn in the finals. Let's not talk Brooklyn yet until you can get past the Clippers and Utah and Denver.
Right.
And those teams that are really, they have a roster. All those teams I just mentioned, they got Patrick Beverly was back, was playing great for the Clippers.
Portland's
and then Paul George. Yeah, PG was playing great. You look at Portland, how they're playing, they get deeper and stuff like that too. So the Lakers got to really bolster something up, make a move, and so they can get that chemistry going at the right time too. As you saw with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when everything started running together, they got hot right at the right time. And so that's what you want from Lakers. You got to start making a move now.
And Don, you talked about Bradley Beal. He's a free agent, so next year they could lose him for nothing. So you might as well get something from him while you can. He just bought a house in Los Angeles. He ain't buying it to join the Clippers. He bought it to join the Lakers, and he's with Clutch Sports too with LeBron. I mean, that's a done deal. So you're gonna lose him anyway. So you might as well try to get something back for him. And if you can't get Drummond, I like the Zach LaVine too. I mean, he's an all-star with a team that's not really just kind of just throttling and idle right now. They guard heavy with Valentine and the little dude with the man bun. I don't know the little cat's name, but he's an all-star and that guy's a monster, man. If he plays with LeBron, he would be like pairing up Damian Lillard and LeBron on the same team with LaVine. He just needs a shot, to be with a good team. But I think that's the move. Either Drummond or Zach LaVine is the move that you make.
I tell you, the problem with the Beal and the Zach LaVine is they're the face of their franchises. And when you look at franchises and how they're built now, they're abhorrently against, and the NBA has proven this too on some cases, you allowing the face of the franchise to go or be poached by a perennial playoff team or bigger market. So that's something the NBA will vote against. So just keep that in mind. As we come up with these scenarios in our minds, they're more likely to vote against that because they don't want to starve the smaller markets so that the bigger markets can thrive.
That's true. That's a good point.
But some teams, though, don't make moves because they're not trying to win championships. Some teams, if they get to the playoffs, that's bodies in the seats, and that's it. You look at the Clippers before the owner got there, Steve, whatever the cat's name.
Got there?
But yeah, before they got there, the Clippers were just the Clippers when Sterling was there, right?
Yeah.
But Doc was with him, right?
Who?
He was director of personnel. Doc was like president of our organization with Donald Sterling for a minute or so before the league banned it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were trying to win a championship until Steve Ballmer got there and gave him the money and the backing and stuff like that. If you remember when Doc Rivers got there, that whole team was really guard heavy. They had Caron Butler. They had all these different guards. It was hard for him to win with that team, and he did win some and turn the franchise around. And but teams, look at the Pelicans. You say face of the franchise. What was Anthony Davis? And they held him out because he said he wanted to get traded to the Lakers. But then they let Drew Holiday go, who was supposed to be his turn to be face. There's some teams that they're not going to improve their market because they're not trying to push for the championship. And that's all good because there's not only a few teams that can be championship teams. It's a business at the end of the day.
I disagree with that. I think everybody's goal is to go to the championship. I think you have these genius GMs and coaches who think they have the solution to get there. And they have a unique way of formula to try to get to the championship. But I don't think it's nobody's goal to just say, I just want to play along. And then no, everybody's trying to develop some formula in order to get themselves to the championship. Otherwise, the Pelicans wouldn't have started all over with all the young guys in Zion. We made moves again with Chris Paul when we didn't go after getting Tyson Chandler. We lost Chris Paul because we refused. Chris Paul was pushing for Chandler to come back on the team. We let Chandler go to Dallas. He ended up healing from his broken foot and was able to win a ring with Dallas. And Chris Paul went to the West. So, I mean, I just think, people think they have their own formulas to success. I think everybody's goal is to win the championship, though.
I'm going to agree with Tyrone on this one and disagree with you. They got some teams that are just there they run it like a business where they're trying to fill out seats and maximize profits. I don't want to go over the salary cap. I got, like you said, your point, I got a marquee star that's going to put butts in the seats every night. And if I sell out of my 41 games, if I sell out 28 of my 41 games, I'm going to make a profit and I get profit sharing from the rest of the NBA. So as much money as the Lakers make, I get a piece of what the Lakers make. as much as the Brooklyn Nets are going to make a Miami Heat, I get a piece of what they make. And my perfect example of that is Washington Bullets. When Manute Bol was playing with them, he was playing with Muggsy Bogues. And nobody really knew Muggsy Bogues until he got to Charlotte Hornets, started playing with Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, those guys. But before, the owner had him like a sideshow. I got the tallest guy in the league, and I got the smallest guy in the league, and have him doing snapshots and pictures, whatever, to get fans in the seats. But they wasn't trying to win with no Manute Bol and Muggsy Bogues in the starting lineup. He was trying to make it like a carnival atmosphere. And the guys like Donald Sterling, the NBA begged him to sell a team. He was the worst owner in sports. The guys had to take their own legs before the game. He didn't hire physical trainers. He wasn't interested in winning. He was just interested in having something that he can build up for a lot of money, just like the real estate market, and sell later on. So I think a lot of teams are interested in winning, but I think there are some teams, a minority of teams, who are not interested in winning the championship. They run it like a business. They want to maximize profits and minimize any outputs, you know?
Paul George talked about it.
Atlanta Hawks is happy having a few stars to fill in the stadium, but they're not really interested in winning the championship.
The Hawks, I think they're trying to build. They're trying to build around. I don't think they're gonna win a championship, but the biggest problem about the Hawks is that they try to be somebody else. They were trying to be the Golden State Warriors of the East, so they drafted that way. They drafted Trae Young because they reminded him of Steph Curry, even though he's not Steph Curry. They traded Kevin Huerter because he thought he was like Klay Thompson. They drafted another guy who no longer plays with them, and then they got John Collins to be like a Draymond Green type of character, and they're not that. That's the thing with the Hawks. They think in history they've done that, and LeBron has blown up every Hawks team there is because they try to be like the Detroit Pistons and draft 6'9" players across the board. That didn't work. LeBron blew them up. They got Josh Smith, Dwight Howard, and all these kind of people. That didn't work. LeBron broke them up. But they were trying. They just formulaic. It's different from like Indiana Pacers, who when Paul George says, hey, let's look in the free. I know somebody wants to come here. And he reviewed later on that it was Tim Duncan that they were going to get. But Indiana didn't want to pay for Tim Duncan to come to the Pacers. And Paul George said,
that's proved my point with the formula.
Well, that's Don's point. That's Don's point is that they are using a bad formula to try to win a championship, but they're trying. But
I'm talking about most teams. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about that Atlanta team. Is to your point, Don, is true. They got a bad formula, but it's not all teams. Some teams just want to get status quo so they can get money. If you think about it, it's a good business model because if I can get people.
You don't think it was a championship?
Yeah, no. I agree that Atlanta is a team who's got a bad formula and they're trying. Okay, I do believe
Houston had a bad formula too with D'Antoni. D'Antoni thought he was going to win a championship with their running style.
Don't even speak D'Antoni. He blows up every team.
I gotta say that he thought he had a formula that was going to break the bank. And
he's always had that.
But guess what?
That brings comes back to mind.
But what about the Timberwolves? What about Minnesota Timberwolves?
What about him?
What about Denver Nuggets?
Karl Anthony Towns and his new cat.
Anthony Edwards. That's not built to get a championship.
Guys, here's the deal. This is the beauty of this. We both can be right. They got some teams with bad formulas, and they got some teams that's not trying to win a championship. Okay? I mean, they don't want to win a championship. They got teams that just like you said, Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni, they have in their mind what they think is going to get them a championship. But guess what? None of them cats never won. First of all, only like 10 teams have won an NBA championship, period. Only like 10 teams, period. So everybody don't win. So it's just like the Lakers, the Spurs, the Celtics, the Knicks won 30, 40 years ago. Miami Heat, just follow where LeBron is. Miami Heat, he gave Cleveland a championship that they would have never gotten a championship in their entire history. They barely made the playoffs. They got a lot of
Dallas Mavericks only got one.
Dallas Mavericks.
My PR person, hey, we might not go for a run for a championship this year, but hold on to your hat. We might go 10 years from now.
Nobody's going to say that. But that's behind the scenes, though. Behind the scene at the board meeting, they're going to say, look, we're going to make a profit. We're going to make a profit if we get all the seats sold and promise a championship. They
It,
can do that.
that's exactly
It's a good business move if you think about it.
That's
If you
exactly
think about
right.
it, it's a great business model to have.
It's exactly right, Tyrone, because they will say that. They'll come up with a 5-year strategic plan. Hey, we're going to do this. And hey, we aren't worried about winning the championship this year, but we build to next year, and get a playoff caliber team. But a lot of guys are not interested. Why do you think LeBron James came in with that model? I'm going to sign 2-year deals to continue to put pressure on general managers to go out and get more talent, because it's not guaranteed he's going to be here for 10 years like those Kevin Garnett days. He gives them 2 years to make sure to put pressure to them to go out and get talent and get above that salary cap to give him a good chance to win. Because he knows
So is that,
a lot of teams
so are we saying
championships.
there's unrealistic expectations that are placed on coaches where management can fire them every 2 to 3 years if they don't produce, then that's really not a good motive to fire a coach. What we're saying is really the GMs have the clue about the direction of the team, and the coach just fills a position until a GM is ready to make a push for the championship.
No, GMs get fired too. GMs get fired too. It's the owners.
Hold on, Charles. Let me say this. What I'm finding about the NBA is these coaches that's rotating D, it ain't about winning and losing. It's personality contests. Who meshes with the owner and who meshes with the GM. And they'll have a guy that'll be there forever in a day who can't win a doggone thing, and they'll keep a job 10, 12 years. And you
Terry Stotts.
Terry
Stotts hasn't won anything with Portland.
And that guy said, Mike Budenholzer, you got the player of the year, you got the defensive player of the year, you got the MVP, the defensive player of the year, coach of the year, and you get bounced out by Miami in the second round, and the coach still got his job. And
what about Rick Carlisle?
Look at Mark Jackson take Golden State as far as he could, and you fire him bringing Steve Kerr, and he wins with the same team Mark Jackson had. And Mark Jackson can't get a job. There's a lot of personality conflicts. You know,
look at Carlisle. Carlisle with the Mavericks only won one championship. He's got great tenure over there at the Mavericks. They ain't talking about firing him for the underproductivity.
Guys, we can't go on in this. Our guest has been waiting patiently, so let's bring them in.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, Don, your part of the show is over with now.
Canceled.
Andrew the Great.
You know what that is.
Wombacher?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh no!
Can you see me?
Coming here talking about some
we can't see you.
Ball.
1 second.
I got you, dog. I just asked you to start it.
All right.
There we go.
Oh, he's out in
There
the
we
ball.
go.
Oh no, he's out there. He's out there. No.
I'm outside. I'm doing white people stuff. Getting drunk in my backyard. Telling my kids they're bad at the cello.
Don't come in and talk about skee ball now. Who won the skee ball championship?
I'm not gonna do that, man.
All right.
How are you guys all doing?
Good, man. What are you drinking?
What you drinking, Drew?
Little rum and coke.
Uh-oh.
In the mason jar.
Yeah, it's very white of me because I like to party. I do declare these mason jars make delicious cups to drink out of.
He going back to po folks. That's how they used to do it at po folks restaurants.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel too.
Mason jar.
Yeah.
I've never been to a Cracker Barrel. What's that like?
Huh?
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm the ultimate cracker. I've been to Cracker Barrel. All right.
I was about to say, I know you've been a Cracker Barrel.
Who hasn't?
No,
Who
they
hasn't?
They don't have those in Idaho, do they?
Not when I lived there.
Okay.
They had a lot of crackers, just not a lot of barrels.
Oh.
I know they had a Waffle House up there. Was that a such thing?
Oh, no.
No, it was like a lot of like mom and pop places, like whatever, like Pal's Diner or like Jim's, like steak and eggs or something. You don't know because you've never been to Idaho. I don't know why I keep saying that.
What's the
like
population of the town you grew up in?
What now?
What's the population of town you grew up in out there?
Huge, about 350 people.
Oh.
That's my elementary school, dog. We had 500 people in my elementary school.
I had 17 in my graduating class. of high school.
Wow.
I was 17 in my graduating class.
That's what I'm about to say. That looks pretty prestigious when they see the 17 out of your class, but they didn't
Like,
say you only had 17.
Look at this guy's a Rhodes Scholar.
Rhodes
He's a Rhodes Scholar. He's got a 0.0.
Don was number 17 in this class.
Well, that's
Don,
good.
you was ranked number 17?
17
Out of your
386, yeah.
17 out of 386?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Now we're bragging.
Top 10%.
Now we're bragging. Is that what we're doing?
I was in the top 49% of my class. I dipped to that 51, bro. You know what I'm saying? I dipped there. I know percentages.
I think I had a 3.0 on the nose, right on the nose. 3.0 is what I graduated with. Man.
Yeah. I don't know what I graduated with. I know I graduated. That's all that matters.
Not letting it go too far off the deep end, bro, because I might edit this out. But just for kicks and giggles, tell Don and T what you got for your high school graduation present, what your brothers got for their graduation presents.
No, don't edit this out. This is a great story. All right. So I want to, speak to everyone here about the law of diminishing returns. And this is a real thing with families. I was the youngest of four. And so my oldest brother, he got a trip to Europe. All right. And then the next one, he got a watch, like not like a Rolex, but he got like a pretty good watch. My sister got like a used Honda. And I'm like, oh, sweet Lord, I just graduated high school. I'm going to get some sweet, sweet gift. Thank Jesus. I love you. Whatever you believe in, I'm going to get something good. My parents gave me a card. I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be something awesome in here. Like maybe I don't know, a check for a bunch of money, IOU for Lamborghini, something. The card said, I'm not making this up. They said, we are not going to charge you rent for the next 6 months you're living here before you leave. That was my gift. My gift was not a trip to Europe, not a watch, not even like one of those you get at Walmart where it's like a digital watch with a calculator on it, so I could do percentages, or a used Honda.
Seemed like your brother and your sister messed it up for you. I'm sorry, Drew. You just
well,
I answered the Mohican, so you just
I think what it was that
I think you looked at it the wrong way. I think you looked at it the wrong way. You should have been doing a lot of parties and stuff every day for your rent. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, hey, I'm rent free. Just eat up everything in the refrigerator. Just tear it up, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drive their car.
Yeah.
Do all kind of stuff. You could have done that.
Tyrone, that would have been great to know when I was 18 years old. Now that I'm 44, no, it doesn't work out. What are you guys talking about tonight on Shoot the J? I know we're talking about like equestrian sports or badminton.
That's what Don was talking about.
I was afraid once you saw your picture, like, oh my gosh, see this guy with these obscure sports from the Ocho, ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Dodgeball.
Guys, actually, a little pop culture. When we have you on the show, we like to talk a little politics and a little pop culture as well.
All right.
Your favorite model, Kim Kardashian, is
my favorite, yeah.
Divorcing Kanye West. They have a combined assets of about $2 billion with the Yeezy line, Kanye's Masters, Kim Kardashian's social media empire and beauty line. What's your take on those two breaking up after I think they've been married 7 years?
My question is this: she's single now? She's worth like $2 billion?
She's worth $1 billion.
Okay, well, listen, I got to go.
What's your plan?
Do you play basketball? Because that's where she's going next.
Yeah,
NBA.
I think she's already. I think she's already been there. That marriage lasted about 34 days or something.
Oh yeah.
Chris Humphries, huh?
Chris Humphries, yeah.
Well, she was with Reggie Bush before that, and her sister was with both sisters with NBA people. Tristan Thompson.
You could make an all-star team of all the people in that family that they have slept with in the NBA. You could have like the Kardashian
Right.
all-star team of all the dudes that family
Hey,
has.
hey, you hit on something. That's not a bad team.
No.
Jenner went out with Ben Simmons. Khloe Kardashian
Yeah.
was married to Lamar Odom.
Wait. Not only Ben Simmons, but your boy from Phoenix Suns too, Devin Booker.
He's a monster player. Dog, that's a
right.
team. You put Devin
That's
Booker.
a team.
Thompson
Blake Griffin went out with one of them too. Blake Griffin too.
did. Lamar Odom did too.
Yeah.
You know.
They'll feel.
Yeah, that's
Well, that guy's Lamar's got a bit of a crack problem right now, so probably not. He wouldn't be the best for that team, but that's a solid lineup.
That's a solid lineup. So your
That's a
thoughts
solid
on Kim is you think she's back on the market? You think she'll get married again, or just what's your take on that whole situation?
Oh wow, that's a lot to unpack. So I don't think she's going to show up to my house anytime soon. So I don't have to worry about that. But also, I would not want to keep up with the Kardashians. Like that is a dumpster fire. That is a very like glossy photo dumpster fire. Like I like. Could you imagine being involved with that?
No.
What about having Kanye West as a baby daddy too? You got to think about that too.
Ooh.
Well, he lives in Wyoming, right? Listen, I don't know Kanye West. I don't know Kim Kardashian, and I'm sure they're probably pretty cool people to hang out with. But would I want to hang out with them? Probably not, because I don't think I'd have anything in common with them. But yeah, I mean, no, I just want to stay away from that. And I mean, I really don't know how to say, like, you know, from being a divorced parent, you know, people want to sit there and like talk smack about like, you know, the dads, like, oh, this is a bad guy. You know, I think like, you know, Kanye West probably very much loves his kids and wants to do the best for them. You know, and I don't know specifically kind of the interactions of their marriage, and I'm not going to try to guess on that. But I think ultimately it didn't work out. That is two monoliths smashing into each other. And I don't, you know, those are two alpha people. How do you make that work? You know, at some point, someone's got to give a little bit. And those are like two tectonic plates that are just pushing and pushing and pushing. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that was an inevitable thing to happen.
That's a good take. Don?
Yeah. I agree with Andrew. I mean, you know, there's a lot of pressure. Both of them have a lot of pressure from their individual careers, and then they're trying to make something work where they're used to the spotlight being on them 24/7. How do you share the spotlight with the Kardashians? I don't know.
Yeah.
And the spotlight with Kanye West, who can tell different artists who deserve a Grammy or not. So I say good luck to both of them in their future. And I'm like Drew, you know, when you try to put something together, only the people involved really know the struggles of the relationship. And that's nothing that anybody from the outside can ever figure out. So good luck to both of them on their journey. And
yeah,
I couldn't watch 5 minutes of the Kardashian show. So I'm sorry. I just can't. So it's just not my.
Yeah.
Tyrone?
Well, you know, it's Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, bro. You know, what do you want me to say about it? Oh, I was crying because they broke up. I can't believe it.
It was not a shock to me.
I'm sure Ray J is like, sure Ray J is like,
I'm still number one, dog. I'm still number one.
Bro, I mean, look, what you say makes a lot of sense. When you have two people who are used to having their way and the whole world bowing down to them wherever they go, wherever you go, people applaud you. Wherever you go, you get the best seat in the restaurant. Wherever you go first class. People paying you to go to their resort so you can stay like in the best place just to take an Instagram photo. And wherever you go with Kanye, there's arenas filled with thousands of people, you know, cheering for you, not just in the United States, all over the world. And as you said, those two personalities, you know, come together. It's hard enough to make a regular relationship work. You know what I mean? Let alone one of that magnitude. And to your point, you know, us two on this side of the screen, I guess, we're on the same side of the screen. We know what that's like as, divorced parents. And as you said, you're sure that the guy loves his kids and stuff like that, and want to do the best for him. And the problem with that is everybody wants to do the best for their kids, but we have different ways of going about doing those things. And we have those fundamental differences. And I think this is best for the kids, and you think this is best for the kids. And that's going to be tough with children, where Kanye seems to has gone like full on evangelical, like Pat Robertson 700 Club religious right,
Yeah. He's about to call my grandma and ask her for like $700.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the kids are the ones that are going to suffer because they're in the spotlight with all this stuff and the show, and they're going to be caught right in the middle of, which is sad. So if it was just about Kim and Kanye, it'd be one thing, but the kids are just going to be. And look, the Kardashians' mother, what's her name? Kris Kardashian, whatever her name is.
Chris.
I mean, she's pimped out her kids for that. She's pimped out her family for that. So hey,
don't cry too much for the kids. T, they still worth $2 billion at the end of the day. While you looking at your mortgage thing, they're looking at the the Seychelles Islands. Or something.
Look, bro, I'll take this little mortgage than over that foolishness, bro. $1 billion. Come on, bro. Now I'm not gonna turn down $1 billion and stuff, but come on.
It reminds me of back when Britney Spears. So like when Britney Spears was married to Kevin Federline, and like I remember like reading an article in like People or one of these like tabloid magazines, and they were talking about how like Britney Spears had bought the guy like a Ferrari, and the brake calipers instead of said like Ferrari, said like Federline or something like that on there. And, at the time, after they broke up, I remember like having this conversation with my friends saying that like, hey, you know what? Like if someone's going to do that for me, I would totally just put up with whatever, because, you're getting a Ferrari, you're living in a big house. But, at the end of the day, I think that those, being like, making those comments like I did when I was younger is nonsense, because like relationships are hard. And, money, I think, takes away a lot of the concern that people have, or a lot of pressure and stress. But at the end of the day, like if you're not the right match for a person and you don't get along, it doesn't matter who they are, how much money they have, whatever's going on, you're going to want to exit stage left immediately.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And sometimes like the rat race and working for a living can distract you from some of the things that you might have relationship issues or impasses, because you're working on a job 8 hours a day or working overtime. But when you have money and you have disposable income where like you don't ever have to work again ever, then it really puts a spotlight on the other person. What is he doing? What is she doing? You know what I mean? That could bring things, to, a calamity even more when you have money, because you're away from each other when you're working 8 hours a day. But when it's just a focus on y'all two and y'all looking at each other in some mansion, and, the arguments take place, sometimes money can really intensify a demise more than, soften it.
Yeah. And I think the thing to look at when you talk about like these celebrities, right? And you look at their schedules, totally different between, everyone here. We're working probably an 8-hour day. If you're working on tour somewhere for 8 months out of the year, going from place to place, or you're working on a movie set for 3 or 4 months in Australia, and then you maybe like come, have a week off, you go work another movie in Atlanta or something like that. How do you keep a relationship with that kind of schedule? I mean, you're basically like married or dating someone, but you never see them.
Right. Right.
I mean, I would
why
like
you need somebody.
Maybe go ahead.
Oh, that's why you need somebody to not be a celebrity in a situation. Like you said, Drew, if my schedule is crazy, then my wife's schedule is just as crazy, going all over the place, building her brand. That doesn't leave time for anything. So, like you said, it probably was inevitable that this was going to happen, because when are you going to spend some time with each other?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I know Kanye West has like, mental health issues, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that I think it's great that he's talking about the stuff, but like, I just don't see how those two things mesh. Trying to be like a recording artist, doing all this stuff, and then she's trying to do all this stuff on the side. I mean, at some point, yeah. I think everyone here is either married or has been married, and we can both say that at some point there is give and take within the relationship, and I cannot imagine a relationship like that is so much in the spotlight, and there's how do you give and take with that? How do you make compromise in a situation like that?
Well, we can bring it back to sports, the conversation we had earlier where we talked about general managers. Some teams are trying to win and other teams we feel are not trying to win. When you're making marriages, Andrew, based on a business decision on who's going to keep you in the spotlight the longest and not trying to do death to them. I mean, if you think about the way they're managing relationships, it's not about, I found the love of my life, we're going to be together 30 or 40 or 50 years. It's about, okay, Ray J's not hot anymore because, I mean, Ray J back in the day is what put this chick on the map. Okay?
Yeah.
And then, because before that, this chick was dating 3T. Y'all know who 3T is? That's Tito Jackson's sons. That's Michael Jackson's nephews who she was going out with. Okay?
I thought it was Mr. T's third cousin.
3T. No.
Well, remember, she didn't make it. She really didn't make it because she was on Paris Hilton's show with her and Nicole Richie, but she was a side character just doing her business with the clothes, which out of all of them, at least she was really doing something, reselling clothes. But then she got stardom after that, but she was just like a side person on Paris Hilton's show.
She was a stylist / hairdresser for one of. That's how she got to meet Ray J.
Right, and then she goes from there to Reggie Bush, and I remember the Super Bowl when we won, and Reggie Bush was trying to give it a hat, and all the wives and girlfriends were like putting on the Saints championship paraphernalia. She like pushed his hand out of the way, don't mess my hair up or whatever. Then he got hurt, and then she moved on to the next thing.
Yeah,
to the NBA player Chris Humphries. Like, when you're looking at marriages as a way to keep me in the limelight, as opposed to let's build a partnership together. Like, that's a whole different take. She's like continually putting herself out there with somebody who's relevant to make her relevant. Because really she has no talent. She's not a talented person. So she's just famous for being famous, So she has to continually align herself with another star to get in their satellite. I mean, to become a satellite in their field,
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, she was no one until that sex tape came out, and I'll be honest with you, I've seen it, not impressed. I mean, that's how she became famous, and then after that, she just kind of, sort of rose from that, keeping up with the Kardashians, all the other stuff. But really, before that, I mean, for me personally, the first time I ever heard of her was after that sex tape came out.
She got a reality show after that. That's right. Nobody knew who she was. Right. All right, fellas. It was a pretty enlightening talk about relationships today with something we don't normally talk about.
I mean, I think ultimately then you have to realize that OJ is not going to call her up because OJ is not her daughter. One of the Kardashians is.
Yes. Chloe, without a doubt. All she needs is the Heisman Trophy in her hand. She looks just like O.J. Simpson. And then she's like 5'10", and the rest of them are like 5'1". This chick is like 5'11".
The thoughts expressed by David Jackson is not necessarily the ones of the viewership of Shooting the J episode. Thank you.
Ty disclaimer, put his own disclaimer
out there. Right. Hey man, what do you have coming out, Andrew? I know you're working on some acting stuff. What projects do you have coming out?
Doing a lot of auditions lately. Had a couple callbacks. I'm gonna do a short film on Friday. I get murdered in it. It's called Wedding Day. It's not really based on my past marriages, but maybe it is. Not sure. And then I'm doing And then
Can we get tickets to that?
My soul gets murdered. And then
can't get tickets.
And then I'm doing a photo shoot for the VA. Yeah, and they're playing the next couple weeks. But as of right now, it's only going on. COVID. Oh, I've been inoculated for COVID. I got the 2 shots. I'm gonna tell everybody, if you can get it, get it. My internet's way faster from that 5G chip that Bill Gates put in me. And yeah, I don't really have any side effects, so you're good.
That's life of an actor with auditions. Bro, why are they always trying to kill you in every movie you're in? Weren't you in a movie as the priest and the guys tried to bury you out on that one, and now you're at a wedding and somebody... What is it about you that people are trying to kill you all the time?
I mean, we've hung out before. I think you get it, Dave.
That's true. Very, very true. This guy got in the Sally Maybach video, which is like the biggest video D1 had. It was hot for a minute all over everything. And D1's agent called me and she said, hey, we need a guy to play a loan officer, but this guy's got to be, like really somebody can play a jerk really, really well. And I was on the phone. And so right when she's on the phone with me, he walks in my office just staring at me through the door. He's like, David Jackson, you're a tremendous disappointment to this organization. I don't know why they brought you on. And I did. I got the perfect person to send to you. And he crushed it. The guy's picture was on The Real, if I'm not mistaken. They did a freeze frame of you on The Real with Jenny Mai and all those, and everything. So, I mean, Dave, if you remember right, there was like a 2-week period where I was pretty famous. He was hood famous.
I remember walking around with you, when we worked together, and people were like, we'd be in places, and people were like, "Oh, that's the guy from Sally Maybach." I mean, I'd have people see me on the street. It was weird, man. It was weird for a number of reasons. A, it was weird for someone to see, random person see me on the street. And number 2, I never got paid for it. So D1, if you're out there, just throw me some coin.
Pro bono work.
You had a few haters about that too, that, they thought that you were trying to break it big into the act and they got mad that you were getting recognized. But that's a story for another day,
It is true. The funny thing is about 2 weeks ago on my personal Instagram, someone messaged me and they were like, "Hey, you're the dude from Sally Maybach." I was like, "Yep." And they were like, "We should totally hang out." I'm like, we should not do that.
Eminem stand.
Kim Kardashian.
It was Kim Kardashian. It was the real Kim Kardashian. It's so weird. It's so weird. I'm actually, when I get off this call, I'm going to call her up.
Oh my gosh.
Because Kim Kardashian's really trying to kind of make her family more diverse. So I said, I got 2 half Asian kids that will be more than happy to change their name Kardashian for a certain amount of money. So just give me a call. We can do this.
Wow. What's the price tag on changing your kid's last name? How much do you need to make that happen?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. How much for you? If someone, yeah. Got some Domino's pizza coupons, maybe a money order for $100. Well, if Kim Kardashian was $1 billion, I would say $1 million a kid, and I would totally change their names.
That'll be your licensing agreement, like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, it's only good for 10 years, and they change your name back. That's how it works.
Well, guys, I'm glad y'all came in. Andrew, thanks for coming and hang out with us.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate that. Good insight that we got on a celebrity marriage there. Thanks, fellas, as always, for tuning in.
Call me.
Backdrop with the string lights too. That's real, real nice. And
you should come over, Dave.
What's that?
And Tyrone and Don, you guys should come over sometime. Hang out at my house.
Why Don had to be last to be invited, bro?
I think you know why.
Wait. We know he's not going to be absolute last. We know who's absolute last to be invited.
This is true.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for joining our call today. We'll catch y'all next week on Shoot the J. This was episode 20, which is a big milestone for us. I think we'll have a special guest episode to a granny.
I'm shitting the J. Is that how you do it?
No, my gosh. But I think we're going to have a special guest for episode 25. At least that's what we're trying to. What are you doing, racquetball?
We're shooting the J, right? What are we doing?
It's horrible.
I tell you, that's the mocking Jay, huh?
Yeah, really. Oh God.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry. Go ahead and finish your show.
I'm gonna edit you clean out. I'm not just kidding.
No, don't do that. Do not edit me out.
That's the star, man. You can't get the star out the show.
You're right, huh? No, we're gonna have try and get a special guest for our 25th episode. I won't divulge who it is right now because it's not in stone. But I'm looking forward to having a special guest on our 25th. Remember,
I'll be there.
So that you can call into. Everybody can talk sports. Doesn't matter if you're, Drew Brees or if you Drew Robichaux. It doesn't matter. So call in if you get a chance. Let us know if you want to be on, and we'll see y'all next week as we shoot the J.
All right, team. Take it easy, guys.
Later, Drew.
Later.
Yeah.